Go Mouse Scouts, episode 119.
You're listening to Go Mouse Scouts, where we're dedicated to helping you and your kids have a great time at the Disney parks. Whether you're just starting out or a seasoned pro, my name is Kris.
And I'm Megan. And
this episode, we are talking about our top 5 Disneyland fails. Yeah, so this is going to be fun. But before we officially get into that, I wanted to talk about a couple things that I had the opportunity to do in the past couple of days, or I guess mainly just one thing. But on Wednesday, the WDW Radio podcast, Lou Mongello had a meetup at Disneyland, and he's from out in Orlando, so it's not very often that there's going to be a meetup for his show over here on this coast. So I jumped at the opportunity. He was out here speaking at a conference or something like that, and he had a meetup at the Cozy Cone motel area in Disney California Adventure. But I went and got to hang out for a little while, chatting with Lou and meeting some other awesome people as well, who kind of share in the community and stuff. So just wanted to give a shout out to Lou. And WDW Radio, which is pretty much the biggest Disney podcast on the internet right now, and has been because he's been doing it for such a long time. So if you haven't checked out that show, definitely check it out. He talks about all kinds of stuff about Walt Disney World, and he'll go into the history on things, and also give like park tips and different things like that. It's a really, really awesome show, and you can check that out by visiting wdwradio.com. So I think you guys will really like it. If you like our show, I'm pretty sure that you guys will like that show as well. So anyway, let's get into this episode. I think bringing that up, I was just trying to kind of delay the inevitable of us talking about our fails at Disneyland, So
they're mostly my fails. So
well, I've got some in there too.
Yeah, you do, but
so the reason we're mentioning these are just so that we can prove to you guys that we have made these mistakes so that you don't have to. All right, so I guess let's get into this. Okay. Us not taking our own advice.
Well, we're always talking about packing food in, right? Mm-hmm. Especially lately, it seems I'm always forgetting some huge component of our meal, like the bread for the peanut butter and jelly that I have brought. Peanut butter and jelly all by itself doesn't really do very well.
Well, see, like what you do then is, you have the jar of peanut butter or whatever, and you scoop your one hand in one, and then scoop the other hand in the jelly, and then if you clap your hands together, you can
No. Especially when you're talking about 5 hands.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah.
No.
So,
also, snacks, like, I don't know, there's some days where when I'm packing the meal and the snacks, I just am not thinking, and I'm like, yeah, 1 snack, that'll do, because that's what they have at home. Mm-hmm. No, and then of course that's the day when they want like 5 or 6 snacks, and yeah, that doesn't work out well either.
And then, of course, the next one is another one that it also involves peanut butter and jelly.
Oh, right? Yes. Well, I didn't bring a knife for the peanut butter. Now, typically, this wouldn't be as much of an issue, except that the place that we chose to sit down and eat our peanut butter and jelly sandwiches was a place that doesn't do plasticware. Mm-hmm. You get like actual silverware when you order, the food, and it's on a tray. Yeah.
Right.
So
that was
there
like
wasn't
at the Garden Grill or something, or the pizza, Boardwalk Pizza or something?
Yeah, Boardwalk
That's
Pizza.
That's what it was. Okay.
The Garden Grill over at Disney World at Epcot?
No. Isn't I don't. Okay, you know what? All right. Okay, fine. It may or may not be.
I'm pretty sure that Garden Grill is a table service place in the the Land Pavilion over at Epcot.
Well, hold on a second. I'm going to pause this because I'm pretty sure that I took a picture of it for Dis Central.
All right, you look at
community.
that picture real quick.
Hold
let's
on.
See.
Here's pause. Okay, so we have a verdict. I was 2/3 correct.
You were thinking of the Paradise Garden Grill, like as in Paradise Pier, Paradise Garden Grill. I was correct, though, that the Garden Grill is a table service character meet and greet restaurant at the Land Pavilion at Epcot. So there we go.
And the fact that I was 2/3 correct means that
you were not correct.
I was not correct, as usually happens in things like this, where it's me against my wife. She always wins.
Good man.
Oh man! All right.
So let's talk about one of your screw ups.
Yeah.
Security.
About that. Security. So I mean, if only I would just leave my pocket knife in the car. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I don't think
you've ever had an issue with a pocket knife.
No.
However, emptying your pocket seems to be an issue for you.
Yeah. Yeah. So like the last couple of times, I try to make sure that I'm ready to go through, and I'll even like take things out of my pockets and put them in the bag and stuff like that, including my wallet and my watch and stuff like that. Except last time I completely forgot my wallet, and so
you had a time where you forgot your cell phone too. It was in a different pocket than your other stuff. You took everything else out but left your cell phone in.
Exactly. And then of course there's the time that I completely ditched you at the thing, which
Yeah, left me with 3 bags, a stroller, 3 kids, and you just walked yourself right on through. And I was like, hello.
Dirty. Yeah. So it wasn't my intention, and I was smartly punished. So, all right. How about planning ahead?
Planning ahead. Okay, so this one happened about 2 years ago.
This is a big one.
Yeah. So, we have passes, right? And there are blackout dates on passes. I very carefully planned that we were going to go on this particular day. We were going to, before our passes were blocked for the summer, we were going to go. And so I took the kids and we were in line, at the turnstile, and we get to the turnstile and our tickets are blacked out that day. Yeah. No Disneyland for us that day. And I'm thinking, this is our last chance to go before, for the next 3 months. Yeah, I cried over that one.
What did you end up doing?
I took them down into downtown Disney. Right? Yeah, it was just me and I think it was even just me and the older two. I don't think I even had Teddy. But anyway, we went over into downtown Disney and sat on a bench and I cried for a bit while they went, okay, what's Mom crying about? Aren't we going to Disneyland? No, we're not going to Disneyland. So we went and did breakfast at the Rainforest Cafe. Mm-hmm. And that was nice. And then I took them in the Disney store and I bought them each a treat. And I said, okay, well, we'll try and see if we can squeeze in something. I mean, we've got 4 days left on our passes that aren't blacked out before the full summer blackout. And yeah, so we were able to squeeze in another trip on the last possible day. But yeah, that was not fun.
Did the little treats kind of help smooth things over with Janine Kit? Yeah. I let them pick whatever they wanted, and they both picked cookies. So I was like, okay, fine. Of course,
I was ready to spend $30 a piece on them, and they each picked a $5 cookie. Okay,
winner, cookie dinner or breakfast or something. And I of course experienced this ordeal via text because I was at work, and I'm not going to go try and find it in the text because you and I text back and forth so much.
And there was that time we forgot our tickets. Remember that?
Yeah, that was when we didn't have passes at the time.
No, we didn't have passes at the time. We were using the Southern California resident 2-day park hoppers. And we had used 1 day on the tickets already. And then this was a week before the tickets were going to expire. We actually went through the trouble of, we got a hotel room down there so we'd be able to start bright and early the next morning. And I remember I gave you trouble that morning because our hotel offered a breakfast buffet included in the cost. Uh-huh. And I was mad because we hadn't gotten out of the room quickly enough. We were not going to be there for rope drop. Because, we hadn't gotten out of the room quickly enough and you were taking your time at breakfast. And so I was just really annoyed. And then when we got over and we went to get in line, and I suddenly realized I had left our tickets at home on the counter. We didn't have them.
We were living with your parents at the time too.
Yep.
Oh man.
And that was just like, oh my goodness, what are we going to do about this?
Yeah.
And so we went to the ticket booth, explained our dilemma of what had happened and to see if there was anything they could possibly do for us, because we had, gone through all this trouble of this hotel room. And I mean, all this. And, they were like, well, can't you go home and get them? And we're like, yeah, we live an hour and a half away. By the time we go home and come back, and then with LA traffic and everything, the day will be half over. There's no point in that.
Time off from work.
Well, can't anybody bring them out to you? Again, see our previous answer about living an hour and a half away.
Right.
So finally, she said, well, is there anybody that could take a picture of the backs, that has the number on it? Thankfully, my brother was still at home. So he was able to go in our room and find the tickets and take a picture of the backs with the numbers on them. And we had to, swear up and down that we would not reuse the tickets to try and get a third day on them, and we had no intention of doing that. I mean, we were just certainly. Like, oh yeah. So they really do try to work with you to help you sort out your issues.
Yeah. Now here's a little hint for the guys and the husbands out there. When you're in that situation where, you're not getting out of the hotel room on time and stuff because you like to sleep and stuff like that, and your wife's giving you a hard time, and then this happens, give her grace. I mean, honestly, because that kind of thing will only come back to either bite you if you don't, give her grace, or will come back and reward you in a really good way. So, and besides, you have to sleep next to each other, so consider that, or you'll be out on the couch.
Yeah, that was a fun one.
All right, so let's see here. Getting through security, planning ahead. Waiting in line fails. Okay, so how good are these two stories? Because I haven't heard them yet. I'm wondering if maybe we should talk about these ones last.
Yeah, we could do that.
As opposed to
my leaving the park
fails. Not
as giant of a story, but
okay, cool. So, all right, let's talk about leaving the park.
Okay, so this is one of Chris's favorite tips: is when when after you park your car, you take a picture of the parking lot sign that's closest to you, to tell you what floor and row number you're in, and how far back and everything. So of course, one time about 2 years ago, I did not take a picture. I just thought, I usually remember where we are. Usually. That would be the operative word here. Usually remember where we are. This won't be an issue. Yeah, it was time to leave, and I didn't remember which floor we were on. I could not remember for the life of me if we were on Mickey or Goofy. So I have a stroller. I have 3 little kids. I have to wait for the elevators, and it's a long line. Mm-hmm. So finally we get in the elevator and I take a guess. And it's the wrong guess. I'm a floor down from where I need to be. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, okay, well, maybe I can take an elevator just up 1 floor. No, because the elevators have, gone all the way down to let people off, and then they've filled up. And now they're going up again and they're completely full. So I had to ride the elevator back down all the way, stand in line again at the elevator, and then go up to the right floor. Yeah. So anyway.
Wow. And so this is a day that you've taken the kids by yourself. Mm-hmm. And by the way, Megan is a freaking ninja because she takes 3 kids, 7 and younger, all by herself. So, keep that in mind as we're talking about these fails and stuff too.
Just wait until the fall. Then it'll be 4 kids.
There you go. So there you have it. All right. So, okay. Waiting in line fails.
Okay. So I have one small story and one bigger story.
Okay.
And my small story is having a newly potty trained toddler and putting this child just in undies for the day at the park. And we waited. I did not take the child potty before we got in line. Mm-hmm. It was like a 45-minute line. We get to the front of the line. Kid wets their pants right there, front of the line.
This was Kit then.
The nice thing is that, when I explained that I needed to take my kid to the potty and get them changed and everything, they said, okay, we'll just come back to the exit and we'll let you right back in. I was like, oh, good. But, it's like while you're waiting in line, when you suddenly realize that your kid needs to go and it's just you and you don't have another adult with you or something.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nobody to talk to about it. The restroom, we were in line for Nemo and the restroom is, a good little ways away. So it wasn't like just hopping out real quick and coming back. And I knew the line was moving quickly and everything. And it was just.
Wow.
So I learned my lesson there in two ways, both about making sure that your toddler has gone to the bathroom before you get in line. And even though the child is potty trained, I will still put a kid in, pull-ups or trainers or something until they're reliably able to hold it for longer periods of time.
Okay. Wow.
So that was my small story.
Okay. Wow. And all right. So there's a bigger one.
There's a bigger one. Yes. This one was, this goes back to one of the reasons that I dislike the storybook canal boats so much.
Okay.
Another trip, just me and the older two kids. And, what was it? I think it was the Monday after a time change.
Okay. All right.
My gut that morning had told me, are you sure you want to go to Disneyland with the kids today? And I went, yeah, we'll be fine. And we were fine for the first hour and a half, 2 hours. And then Jenny wanted to go on the canal boats. This line, this queue, if you haven't been recently, it's very narrow. There really is not room for two people side by side or for sliding past other people. So we get in line. Kid at the time, he's 2. And he's still using a pacifier at that point. He's tired. She's tired. They're both tired because of this time change. And, if you have kids, of course, that it takes them a couple of weeks to really acclimate to the change in the time. And in the meantime, they are cranky and tired and irritable. And so we're working our way through this queue. And I have Ginny, who's just off in outer space, hardly paying attention to anything going on around her, not paying attention to me at all. So if I needed her to follow me somewhere, that was not going to happen. And we have Kit, who I left his pacifier in the stroller. And he was just melting down. He's laying on the ground, screaming his head off. He's kicking. He's screaming. He's just throwing a huge temper tantrum just because he's 2 and he's tired. And if he'd had his pacifier, he would have been fine. But no, Mommy left it in the stroller because, trying to cut down on the pacifier usage. That was not the time to be doing it. Other people are trying, to kind of try to distract him and stuff. Nope, nothing happening. I cannot get out of this line with these two kids because I have one who is going to be kicking and fighting me the whole way as I'm trying to squeeze through this narrow queue past other people. And this thing is like a labyrinth. I mean, it just keeps winding around and around and around. And the other one wouldn't be able to follow me because she's just like a total space cadet at the moment. So my only option is to stand in this line with these two, with this screaming child and this space cadet child, and just pray that we get to the end of the line quickly so I can just take them out and forget the ride. Because I couldn't just squeeze past everybody. Yeah, so that was, I should have listened to my gut that day and not gone. We ended up just going home. We spent more time in the car on the way there and back than we did actually in the park.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Wow.
That was fun.
Yeah. And then, of course, a couple of honorable mentions I suppose we could talk about. I mean, rushing through things. I mean, it's easier to, get, annoyed at things and stuff and things like that. And even another thing about leaving the park is, right after the fireworks or parade or whatever, as there's a mass exodus from Disneyland. There was one point where it literally took us a half hour to get, down the ramp, so we could leave and jump on the 5.
From our parking space to the ramp.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it wasn't even, it was just getting to the exit from our parking space. It took us half an hour just sitting there waiting as we inched forward with all the other cars trying to leave at the same time.
Yep.
Yeah, we don't make that mistake anymore, usually.
There you go. And so you've heard it here first. Our top 5 with a couple of honorable mentions. Lou Mangello would be proud. And, you even got a bonus one in there, the one where we forgot our tickets,
Oh, yeah.
We just thought of that one spur of the moment. So we would love to hear your guys' stories. I mean, as you can see, we're just a normal family, with kids who do their things, and kids are going to be kids, whether they're tired and grumpy or happy and elated. We just want to share our experiences with you so that you don't have to make our mistakes, So email us or tell us about your experiences. You can do that at fun@gomousescouts.com, or come join our Facebook group, which you can find by visiting gomousescouts.com/Facebook. And, we'd love to hear your experiences as well. So thank you, everybody, so much for listening. We really appreciate you guys. And, you're the reason that we're doing this show. And also, if you're enjoying this show, we would be, glad to have you guys, share it with your friends. If you know somebody who you think would benefit from our episodes as well, tell a friend, tweet about it, or share our posts on Facebook. We appreciate all the help we can get, and we'd like to reach even more people. So thank you, everybody, so much for listening. We really appreciate you guys, and hope you have a wonderful week. Take care.
Disney 98. Papa,